After the Cold War was over, there wasn't really a space race for a long period of time, and companies began to play a bigger role in spaceflight. That is, until 2036, when an Indian science team examining the possibilities of several outlandish propulsion systems made a startling discovery. They proved the existence of another universe, close to our own, but with radically different physical laws. The most significant difference being that space-time in the other universe had the properties of a fluid rather than a vacuum. The science team happened to work under the Department of Space, and the chairman, Dr. Jade Harani Pragada, convinced the researchers and later the government this should be a top secret project because the findings could cause widespread panic. The money used for the science team was marked as going for weapons research because that way it was more convincing to the public it should be top secret. Some rumors were circulating, but nobody seemed to have any proof, and they were mostly dismissed as just another hoax. The theoretical work resulted in the discovery of previously unknown elements with strange compositions that seemed to be unaffected by the presence of this universe. Unfortunately, almost all of the elements were only found within the upper mantle of the planet and would require significant effort to access. Because of the need for huge resources to mine for the planet's upper mantle and from the planet's upper mantle, and because the scientists couldn't find a way to move from our own reality into the nearby universe, and according to a theory nothing could get into this universe without becoming unrecognizable, the government finally made the information public. It is the year 2045. India is considered a developed nation now, although the process has been a slow one. China is now a leading superpower, and although the Chinese, the EU's, the United States, and Russia's space programs are at the moment better funded, India is definitely up there. Welcome to my new video game commentary series of Aurora 4X, which I will be this time doing as after action reports, because this game is very slow and slow to play and therefore seems not to lend itself very well to live commentary. Comments are enabled, so you can mock how culturally insensitive I am or how I'm mispronouncing names. See if I care, you lousy good-for-nothing viewers! Bah, at least I'm trying something different than just NASA. Also, the introduction had much of its elements borrowed from the Trans-Newtonian Elements article in Aurora's wiki. I think it's a bit silly backstory myself, but the game unfortunately doesn't have a Newtonian mechanics, so I guess it will have to do. Also, this is not a tutorial. I think this is something I maybe should record live. So, what just happened? The missile complexes are things that that are by default, that I have by default, but. For whatever reason, it seems that due to the complete failure of the life support systems on board of these missile complexes, a lot of my crew members have died, and the remaining crew members struggle to stay alive. More than half, it seems. Well, maybe not. Pretty much half, let's say. Just somehow died. I don't know what's the matter. I'll try to see if I can figure out what's the reason for for them dying. I can't really do anything here, it seems, at least. Shipyard task group, nah. Morale, 10%. Only the first missile complex has 100% morale for some reason. It's different for it. Ground forces, maybe? No, these aren't. These aren't what I'm supposed to be maybe looking at. I just don't know. Fighters? No. I can't see my missile complexes. This game is, of course, pretty brutal. I don't know. Brutal. Life support systems. I mean, would I maybe need some sort of hangar for them? It seems unnecessary. They are missile complexes. They should have their own well things, their own life supports. Maybe if I assign people. Sure, let's start assigning and see what happens. Probably I'll lose these missile complexes to starvation and whatever, because I just don't know how to use them. The tutorial didn't mention anything about these things. Intelligence, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Let's just wait a couple of days more. And please put this on the front. Yes, they seem to be dying still. And they aren't even in an order. I don't know, maybe I'll just let them die. Die, or else you will die. Am I supposed to be maybe making them maintenance supplies? It seemed said about life support systems. That's not... Luxury passenger accommodation, launch controls, recreational modules, prefab fees. Refit? Maybe, I don't know. Probably not. Well, whatever. They weren't made by me, so it stands to reason that I shouldn't know how to operate them. They can fend for themselves, sure, and this is supposed to be a democracy. I hate when the game does these things. The year 2045 happened to also be when the elections took place, and Amitabh Sahu was elected as the President of India by the Electoral College. Her promises were to help India's economy to grow and to reduce poverty. India also began work on mining for the trans-Newtonian elements and finding uses for them. In 2046, a new military academy was established to train more scientists to help with the cause. Also, I got rid of all of the missile complexes. In 2047, the research on trans-Newtonian elements got finished and the scientists discovered the minerals somehow intruded into a space-time of the alternate dimension. probably that would be from the alternate dimension, and that spacecraft built from these elements would be affected by some of the physical laws of that universe. They theorized that this would allow spacecraft to turn in space like ships in water, but to turn in space like ships in water, but it would also quickly slow them to a stop if the engines ceased operating. A secondary effect was that the mass of such a ship would be dramatically reduced, allowing much higher speeds from conventional power systems. Finally, it was discovered that sensors and communication systems constructed from some of the new elements could send energy signals through the other universe at a speed much greater than light. Within a solar system, communication and sensors would effectively be real time. This breakthrough meant that long-range system exploration was finally a reality, and the Indian population was, according to a polls, very much behind more funding to the space program. The parliament voted to divert more funds to building a space-based capability, and the Indian Space Research Organization in charge of the space program decided to start surveying nearby bodies for more minerals. Of course, it would still require some preparations before any such ship could be launched. For starters, they would need entirely new types of sensors to find these trans-Newtonian elements. The geological survey vessel Nirbhik first just finished building. It will survey next 5 system bodies indefinitely, or if fuel falls under 50%, it will refuel itself. Other things I've been doing is improving engine technologies, production and research capabilities. Also, we now have a commercial shipyard. But I think this will be enough for